The sun was barely rising over the city when the competitors lined up along the narrow road. This wasn't just a local competition. This race was a gateway to a life-changing scholarship. Whoever won would leave town for advanced training, access to professional coaching, and a future most riders only dreamed of. Daniel tightened his grip on his handlebars and tried to ignore the anxious pounding in his chest. He had trained for months, waking before dawn, working 2 jobs, eating little, sleeping less. Everything about his life had pointed him to this moment, but fate had other plans. Halfway through the race, when he finally found a rhythm, when he felt his body syncing with the road, when the finish line felt closer than ever, he heard the sudden, sharp crack. His front tire exploded, sliding sideways. His body crashed onto the asphalt. Pain shot up his arm. Dust filled his lungs. His bike lay mangled beside him. He wasn't sure what hurt more, his body or the realization that the scholarship was slipping from his hands. "Hey, are you okay?" He looked up. A young woman with a delivery bag slung around her shoulder knelt beside him. Sweat dripped down her forehead, and her bicycle had fallen over behind her. "I'm fine," he muttered, embarrassed. "But my bike—" "Forget your bike," she said, her voice fierce and urgent. "You need to finish the race. Take mine. Go. You can still win this." He blinked. "What? I can't take—" "Take it," she insisted, pushing her bike toward him. "Don't let them beat you, not like this." He didn't understand who she was or why she cared, but something in her eyes, a quiet determination, a spark of defiance, told him to trust her. So he did. Well, he mounted her bike, her small, worn, rust-patched delivery bike, and rode like the world was ending. The chain rattled, the brakes squealed, but it didn't matter. He pushed every muscle past its breaking point, and somehow crossed the finish line first. The crowd roared. It should have been a glorious moment. Instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare. No sooner had Daniel caught his breath than a shadow fell across him. The race official, sharp suit, sharper attitude, stepped forward with a look that spelled trouble. "You didn't win," the man said flatly. "What? I crossed the line first." "On an unregistered bicycle." Daniel's stomach dropped. "But I only used that bike because mine was sabotaged. Someone threw tacks on the road." The official raised an eyebrow. "Do you have proof?" "No, but you know it's true. Someone wanted me out." "Rumors," the man snapped. "We don't investigate rumors." Alejandra stepped forward, breathless from having run to catch up. "It's true," she said. "His accident wasn't his fault. I saw the road." The official dismissed her with a cold smirk. "And who are you? A delivery girl? You expect me to take your word?" Her face flushed with humiliation, but she didn't back down. "He deserves fairness." "No one deserves anything," the man said. "The rules decide, not you." Then he announced the verdict, a rematch. In 2 days, winner takes all. It wasn't justice. It wasn't fair. It was a message. Someone powerful didn't want Daniel to win. And now, Alejandra had stepped into the crossfire. Alejandra returned to her workplace after the chaos, praying her boss would understand. But the moment she pushed open the restaurant door, she saw him waiting with a scowl. "Where's the bicycle?" he demanded. She swallowed. "There was an emergency. I had to help someone injured." His voice boomed so loudly the customers turned. "Lies, all of it. You sold it, didn't you?" "That's not true," she protested. Just then Daniel ran inside, panting, holding the repaired bicycle. "It's not her fault," he said. "Here, it's right here." Her boss didn't even look at it. "I don't care, you're fired." The words hit her harder than she expected. She needed the income. Rent was due. Her mother's medicine wasn't cheap. "Please," she pleaded softly. "I need this job." "You should have thought of that," he sneered, "before you gave away what wasn't yours." Daniel felt a knot of guilt tighten in his chest. "I'm sorry," he whispered as she stepped outside. "If I hadn't—" "Stop," she said gently. "You didn't fire me." He did. "And honestly, I'm glad I don't have to deal with people like him anymore." She tried to smile, but Daniel could see the worry beneath it. Everyone wanted her to lose, but she refused to break. Once they were outside, Daniel told her the truth he'd been holding in. "I found this," he said, pulling out a handful of tacks. "Someone put them on the road, on purpose." Alejandra's eyes widened. "So it was sabotage?" He nodded. "Yes, but without proof of who did it, I can't stop them." Her jaw clenched. "Then train harder. Beat them the honest way." He looked at her thoughtfully. "Actually, I wanted to ask you something." She tilted her head. "I need someone to train with," he said. "Someone who won't quit under pressure." She blinked, surprised. "Me? I'm just a delivery person." "You're the person who helped me when you didn't have to," he said softly. "That means more than skill. It means courage." He handed her a small envelope stuffed with bills. "Please, take this as thanks." She hesitated, then accepted it, touched by the gesture. "I'll help," she said at last. "See you tomorrow at 8." And for the first time that day, Daniel felt hope returning. The next morning, they trained under the rising sun. Alejandra pushed Daniel harder than he'd ever pushed himself, correcting his posture, pacing him, motivating him. Working with her felt natural, almost right, but peace didn't last. Paul, the arrogant cyclist favored by the foundation, strolled toward them with a mocking smile. His teammate, Ayano, followed close behind. "Well, well," Paul said. "The delivery girl and the loser. Cute." Alejandra glared at him. "At least we didn't cheat to get where we are." His smile dropped. "Watch it." Daniel stepped between them. "Leave her alone." Paul leaned closer. "You're just jealous I'll win and you'll disappear." Alejandra whispered to Daniel as they walked away. "He's scared. That's why he's acting like this." But Daniel knew something she didn't. Paul wasn't just scared. He was dangerous. That afternoon, after training on a quiet stretch of road, Daniel heard the roar of an engine. Before he could react, a car veered sharply toward him. He jumped, but not fast enough. The bumper clipped his bike, sending him crashing to the ground. Alejandra screamed his name as she sprinted toward him. Pain radiated across his arm. His breath caught. Paul stood nearby, pretending to be shocked. Ayano hid a smirk. "This was no accident," Alejandra said fiercely. Paul shrugged. "Relax, he'll live." "You almost killed him." "It was just a scare." Alejandra knelt beside Daniel. "Can you move?" Daniel groaned. "I have to race tomorrow." "You're hurt," she said. "I'm not letting them win." She hesitated, then said softly, "I studied physical therapy before I had to drop out." He blinked at her. "You did?" "Yes, I can help you, but you have to trust me." And he did. She bandaged his arm carefully, her hand steady despite her shaking breath. "You're brave," he whispered. She shook her head. "No, I just refuse to let people like him win." Everyone wanted her to lose, but she had more fight in her than anyone he had ever met. As she bandaged him, Alejandra opened up for the first time. "I left school," she said quietly, "not because I failed, but because I couldn't pay for my last semester." Daniel watched her carefully. "How much did you have left?" "Just my thesis." He took a slow breath. "Then I promise you something," he said. "If I win tomorrow, you're going back. You're finishing your degree." She looked up, stunned. "Daniel, why would you do that?" "Because you believed in me when everyone else saw a nobody." Her eyes softened. Then she nodded. "All right, and I'll help you however I can tomorrow." It was a pact, sealed not by money or need, but by trust. By morning, the track buzzed with tension. Rumors flew, whispers churned. Everyone sensed something wasn't right. Minutes before the race began, Alejandra spotted a man crouched near the starting line. Quiet, suspicious, dropping something onto the asphalt. Nails. She grabbed his wrist. "Drop them, and you'll be spending years behind bars." He froze. "I'm just following orders." "Whose orders?" "Paul, and the girl with him." She dragged him to the officials. "You're coming with me. You're telling the truth." Meanwhile, Daniel rolled his injured arm, trying to ignore the stabbing pain. Alejandra reached him just before the whistle. Be strong, she whispered. Don't let injustice win. He nodded. The whistle blew. The race began. Every pedal stroke sent fire up his arm. Every bump in the road made him grit his teeth, but he refused to stop. He refused to give them the satisfaction. He crossed the finish line, exhausted, trembling, but victorious. The officials stormed forward, pretending to maintain order. "You'll get your scholarship," one said coolly. "If your paperwork is in order," Daniel cut him off. "I checked the paperwork myself. I know the protocol." "How would you know?" He took a deep breath. "Because I wrote half of them." A silence fell so sharp it felt like a blade. "I'm Jose Daniel," he said, "the founder's son." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Paul paled. Ayano stumbled back. The man Alejandra had caught confessed everything, with every truth revealed, every lie exposed, the foundation's corruption unraveled. "You're fired," Daniel said coldly to the director, "and you will be investigated." Then he turned to Alejandra, the only person who stood by him when he was nobody. "You fought for me when you had nothing," he said softly, "and you changed everything." When the crowd disappeared, Daniel found Alejandra waiting near the bike racks, her expression unsure. He approached her slowly. "I want to offer you something." She raised an eyebrow. "Another fake job?" He shook his head. "No, something real, something earned." He looked her in the eyes. "I want you to run the foundation with me." She gasped. "Me? But I'm just—" "No," he said. "You're the bravest person I've met. When everyone wanted you to lose, you chose to fight for what's right." Tears filled her eyes. "Daniel, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," he whispered, "and let me help you finish your degree. The foundation will fund everything." She covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "You're the angel here," she whispered. "No," he said. "You saved me." They walked toward her repaired bike together, the sun warm on their backs, the future unwritten but bright. Because life doesn't reward cruelty or lies or sabotage. Life rewards the brave and the ones who rise even when the world wants them to fall.